Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Michael Wilkes, Angel Ortiz, Dr. Chad, and Sam La Cavera. Go check out beardedbrowns.com and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Enjoy the show.
How you doing? How you doing, everybody? This wonderful Tuesday night at 7:30. We are the Bearded Browns podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It's going to be a fun night. But first, before I do anything else, please share the feed, comment, like it, comment, do whatever you can to get the algorithm to make it sound like we are cool guys with beards talking sports. And hopefully you can. Yeah, right. Yeah, because Chad no longer has a beard. But yeah, it tremendously helps us out. Also, we encourage you guys to drop a comment in the conversation. We'll get them out. You know, if it's a good take, whatever take, good take or bad take. We'll still let people know what you say in the comments below. Tonight, we have some trending topics for you that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk a little bit about the receiving core, the receiving that we have. But before I get into that, let's give me a quick shout out to our sponsors, Rust Belt Automotive, Rest Renew Counseling, Cleveland Ketchup. Use a code Bearded for 10% off. Bearded Bastard Barbecue Sauce. Use the code Bearded15 for 15% off. And Doug White, Allstate Insurance Company. All those are sponsors of our show. Did I miss one? I feel like I did.
The important one, Dick's House of Sport out in
Dick's House of Sport. That's
the
what I was
newest.
thinking.
Literally.
The newest.
The team.
This place
Dick's
is
House of Sport. Yes.
the golf simulators in there, the soccer field outside. It's like covered in a fence and all that, so you can be safe. And there's rock climbing. My
Rock climbing.
big old butt ain't gonna be doing no rock climbing anytime soon. But
They got a cool little soccer field out there too. You guys go up there and play soccer. Yeah, it's a good spot. Big, huge. Got 2 floors of just merchandise. You can buy stuff. They got everything: cleats, golf clubs, golf bags, soccer balls. They got everything. It's a huge, beautiful store. Dick's House of Sport in Strongsville, Ohio, right by the Strongsville Mall, actually. Really minutes from my home. Very convenient for me. Very convenient for me to get there.
Chad, and maybe
Farther from me. A little farther from me.
25 minutes from me. Not bad. Not bad at all. Worth it.
Yeah, it's good. Good stuff there. What's up, KP Young? How are you doing? What's up, Rich? The champs are here. Oh, speaking of champs, if you guys can go to voteclevelandscene.com actually, or scan that code right there that just came by Mike, and vote for us for the sports podcast of the year, local sports podcast of the year. You scan that, and it'll take you to best sports podcast, and you click on that and just type in our name. The nominations end May 15th. So after that, we will find out if we make the next round. And then after that, it's pretty easy. You just click on instead of typing the name, but we have to go through the nominations first. So hopefully we can get in the nomination, get past this phase. We were surprised last year when we got past it, but this year we're kind of hoping to get, we were pretty new. It was pretty new. Hey, I guess people do like us. They nominated us to get on the board at least. So that's a good thing. So thank you guys for doing that. Thank you for the comments already that is pouring in. Much appreciated. First thing that we're going to talk about is trending topics, guys. Trending topics, things that have been trending this past week or over the weekend. The first thing we have to talk about is the Shiloh comments about Mary Kay Cabot. For those that need to be caught up or don't know, Mary Kay made a comment about should Deshaun Watson should just be named quarterback 1 now because basically if the Browns don't do it, they're going to waste their time. And Shiloh didn't like it too much and told Mary Kay to make a sandwich. So, guys, what do you think of this situation between Mary Kay and the Sanders family in general?
It's the off season. Let it go. She's gotta find something to post about, and she's doing just that. She's doing her job technically. Let it go, just like we are. We're not here to clickbait, obviously, but she's got to have something to talk about. We talk about it. I wouldn't have said it the way she did it, but I mean, with that being said, let it roll. I wouldn't have said what Shiloh said either. I mean, that's
Yeah.
especially in today's
And
world.
the thing is, realistically, like anybody's brother, jumps in and says anything about like, oh, this reporter says this, like nobody even knows. But obviously, being Shador Sanders and being Sanders, making the comment, like it just goes off at a different level. For my money, like I wouldn't have made that comment as Mary Kay made. I think it's like a bit of a jump the gun. Like, yes, I know we had a really weird competition last year, and yes, I know they waited longer than most people wanted for them to actually name a starter, but that doesn't mean you have to name your starter before rookie camp. Like, like that's a bit of an overcorrection, right? Of like, oh, we didn't name our starter last year till August, so this year let's do it in late April. Like what? So it's not a great
Well,
comment.
yeah, it's extreme.
And also the story that came out, even her own report was Deshaun Watson has a edge after the first mini camp over Shador, and like, A, that shouldn't be that unexpected, and B, like an edge doesn't mean you're ready to name the starter. Like, can you have one camp with everybody there, including the rookies? Like, what a jump the gun comment by Mary Kay. So, like, again, the response is not unexpected to me. He probably could have picked a better response than something that seems super sexist. But again, most people would have never heard from any guy's brother's comment on the situation if it wasn't a Sanders. That's just what it is.
I mean, that's what happens here in Cleveland, right? You got dads on X posting quarterbacks game tape and how they miss receivers wide open, and then you got families responding to reporters' comments. I personally think it's a bad look. He shouldn't have done it. I'm a little.
He should know his. Yeah. You're right, Angel. He should know his reach.
He should know. Yeah,
but I'm not gonna put that in any way like on Shador that he like.
Well, no, you won't.
Comment, right?
You won't. But the team is gonna be like, dude, tell your brother to shut up. Like, why is your brother like commenting, saying stuff to our reporter? And this is and it gives you fire, ammunition to those that hate Sanders. It says, see, this is why you don't have him on your team. You got his family talking trash to a reporter for reporting. We all know Mary Kay says some crazy stuff. So the report itself is just crazy and it's expected. Or is it? Is it not
one of
expected?
Our biggest topics about Mary Kay, one of our biggest topics about Mary Kay is be very careful between what Mary Kay is reporting and what Mary Kay thinks. Yeah, because those are two very different things.
Two different things.
If she's reporting that they came out of camp with Watson slightly ahead, then they probably came out of camp and someone literally told her, yeah, we got Watson a little ahead of him after what we've seen so far. The next part of it, 100% sounds like just
her opinion.
His opinion, which is a totally different thing. So totally like we've been warning fans for like 2 years, like separate the two. Because she says she thinks so-and-so should, should switch their position from quarterback to receiver, doesn't mean the Browns have anything to do with that or it's coming from anywhere. Like, identify the report versus the reporter.
Here's the thing. Nobody knows anything. Like, seriously, like nobody knows a thing yet. There was 2 little camps that everybody showed up to and threw the ball around a couple times. Nobody's going to know anything yet. This is a whole new coaching scheme. A new head coach that didn't draft any one of these quarterbacks.
She's getting it from somewhere though, Mike. Like somebody told her.
There's some smoke.
Said here, she vrabeled somebody.
I'm going to say that there's a lot of, and I talked to Mike about this yesterday when we were on the phone. There's a lot of smoke between the Watson starting thing, and it's starting to kick up steam. You had Zach Jackson on the Cleveland Sports Show today mentioned something too, and he says that the Browns are looking to force Deshaun Watson to play better. So maybe she should have not said her opinion. It just kept it as, hey, I'm hearing that the Browns want to start Deshaun Watson and just leave it as that. That would have been better.
That would have been better.
Comeback story Deshaun Watson, like the Rock.
Or be more general. Be more general.
Yeah.
Right now, Deshaun Watson has a slight leg up over Shador. I hope they pick a starter much sooner this year. Like they didn't have to say name him the starter now. That's ridiculous.
No, yeah.
But like it would have been better to say, try to get a starter before August or by the end of June, whatever.
A slight leg over. Was that a pun? Was it?
But one last thing. Nick Pidone from Big Play Network said something 2 weeks about Shador Sanders, saying that the league at the NFL Combine, he was told by many people of league sources that Sanders was widely fun to watch, but that is his cap. And he had not one word from the Sanders family, not one word from anything.
Because he's
from anybody.
Always like super pro.
Yes. So it's I think it's more,
and that helps.
I think this is more about the messenger than the message itself. That's all. Maybe. That's how I'm going to end it. Next up, rookie minicamp this weekend, guys. Rookie minicamp. Who's excited for some undrafted free agents to be people's favorite to make the team? We have
the only excitement for me of this rookie minicamp is that there's actually a lot of rookies, and it will be the first exposure. Anything beyond like there will just be a lot of guys there, and there will be some interviews. You lose me because like I think rookie minicamp is always so ridiculous. They've got so many different level people there. They don't have enough guys to piece together like even good like 11-on-11 drill. Like it's always such a little like get in the building, get a little comfortable being here, meet your coaches, meet each other, and like learn how to take this seriously. And I have so many people that are like, and maybe in the past it has been because we've been such a weak roster, but there's so many people that come out of rookie camp with these stories of grandeur of how like this guy is blowing everyone away. And then most of the time those guys disappear. Now last year we had like the Gage Larvadane like excitement, and he actually ended up making the team and even playing a little bit. So, but this year it will be cool because there's a lot of actual high level rookies because they had so many draft picks. And that is cool that there's actually going to be some talent at rookie camp this year.
Do you think that Mary Kay Cabot's stories after a rookie minicamp are going to get so outrageous that somebody's going to go tell her to make a sub?
Maybe. I think the love for Taylon Green that she has currently is going to make somebody tell her to make a sub, because I just think she has infatuation with quarterbacks, and because every quarterback is like important. Also, too, she was on the Taylon Green draft him, so she's going to be honking that horn a lot louder. And he will be
very into. Wow. Given that Mike the role Mike is on today, I'm so glad I didn't just. I was gonna say size, but Mary Kay is very into measurables. Yeah. So like it does not surprise me. She always is super high on guys that are tall and fast at every position. She always she wants receivers that are tall. She wants linemen that are huge. She always is very big on the measurables. So this fits her, and she loves guys that are kind of dynamic. She's going to be talking about him on special teams. She's going to be talking about how he should play 4 or 5 positions for this team.
Yeah.
They should have packages for him, the Taylon package.
Taylon Green. Tush push.
Next thing we know, he'll be safety. He'll be safety on our Hail Mary sets. He'll be back deep playing safety.
Yeah, it's
These
insane.
comments are on a roll today. Good stuff.
Who are you guys most excited to see in the camp? Like, I mean, just to hear about it, you probably won't see much, but like,
you gotta pick the receivers, right?
Yeah, you would have to.
No,
I mean, this
really.
is a time where we drafted 2 very high. This is the highest level of 1-2 receivers we've ever drafted, I think. So,
they would
usually. If we're high on Floria and Larvadane, then I just feel like people are going to be pretty blown away by a Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion combination.
Yeah.
Well, at camp, you're going to see a lot more about the receivers because they're going to be the ones catching passes. Obviously,
Mhm.
the line isn't going to be a crucial part of mini camp. You're going to see them making blocks here and there, but they're not going to be making, solid moves and all that like they're in a game at camp.
Yeah.
Right off
Even
the
the tight ends, like I think people could be reasonably excited about the tight ends, but the warning will be what we really need is a tight end who can get out there and get physical, and that's not what rookie camp's about. But I do think knowing that that's a position where somebody might get on the field, you could probably pay a little attention to the tight ends. Again, it's such low competition. It's so kind of pieced together. Just you can't read that much into it, honestly.
Yeah, you'll see
Anybody?
a lot when mandatory. I'm sorry, Angel. You'll see a lot more when
Okay.
mandatory camp comes up with all these wide receivers in one room. You're not going to have that many at the end of the year, so you're going to see some competition.
Like
some guys.
Last year, everybody was super down on Mason Graham, and it's like,
Because he
that turned
puked.
out to be, yeah. So
Because
it's
he
like
puked.
Chicken wings.
and you didn't get to see like what he actually does
He's
really
gonna
well.
Be a bust. Because he
Yeah,
puked.
so-
Which God forbid Fan will come out and puke.
Yeah.
He comes out and puke. It's over, man.
Pukes on his brother.
Move him to tackle. He can't be move him to guard. He can't be a tackle. He's puking. Yeah, I'm excited to see. I want to see how well Fano develops. How good he is, how quick he's learning. And the two receivers, I'm very interested in. I want to see how. And again, they're going against undrafted free agent. There's some undrafted free agents like a corner from I think West Virginia Mountaineers that I forgot his name, but that you think because they need that. They need an extra corner. They might need a safety depending on what's going to happen with Hickman and his contract. But
we both thought they needed an extra corner, but they certainly do not have very much urgency to add one. I'm wondering if like somebody on this defense. I mean, you already brought up the point, and I think it's really valid that they got an extra safety and a versatile one. So like they may just play more safety nickel than they do corner nickel, but they also need some depth. They didn't bring back Emerson. It just was a surprise to me that they don't seem that urgent to want to bring in a corner. And I wonder if there's more in the room or if they believe there's more in the room than kind of we were thinking. Because they have a really good one too, but it seems to taper off massively after that. So it's one of the biggest drop-off positions. But yeah, I think what you guys what we can all look for, and I think what you see at rookie minicamp is the way guys move. And anybody who's played sports, you can watch a guy and go like, okay, this guy kind of like he's different. He gets off the ball faster. He has like a great release. He's got good hips and he turns. And you don't have to be like some kind of scout or analyst to just watch a guy move around and get excited at the athleticism. And I think there will be some athletes there this year.
Yeah, KP Young says, I'm interested in seeing which receiver gets traded. Heard Tillman and Thrash are both are trade bait. Logan.
Well, are you in for a show then?
Logan said 2007 Braylon Edwards could play every position on the field for this 2026 team. He'll just drop. He'll have to play corner because he'll drop the ball if he catches it. On to the next topic, which is a fun one for those that are into drafts and wanting to know how picks were made. ESPN geniusly came up with a show called The Pick Is In, and the Browns got featured on it. And we got to witness how Fano was picked. And what were your guys's, Mike, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on the process of the draft and how they decided on him?
After seeing that video, first and foremost, everybody that was at the draft party or watching the draft party video, when that pick was made, I made it. It was clickbait. I walked off the stage because I had to take care of some things off stage. But I am impressed, especially after watching more video on the kid, seeing what he is capable of doing. I'm definitely more impressed. That left tackle's position needed to be filled with somebody that could play and be a steady piece of this offensive line. So I'm all for it. I mean, it's the pick we have, so we have to deal with it, right? No matter what.
Yeah,
doesn't mean you have to like it.
Yeah,
you have to deal with it, but
I guess we have
I don't think you have to like it.
Mike's like, I like it, but I guess I have to put up with it.
Yeah, you don't sound that enthusiastic, but
I'm sitting trying because I didn't.
You're not the only
one. I'm looking
at
notes and I'm trying to upload those 3 other things from Concepcion,
okay.
Cooper, and Boston real quick. I'm sorry.
You're
So
good.
thank you, Angel. That's Angel's fault for throwing me under the bus there. No, I'm kidding.
So I
It's
just
the
think
three-
I would just bring this up too. So like I randomly had a podcast from Carmen and Lima the day after the draft that I just never listened to, and it was just sitting there in my like podcast queue on Spotify, and I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, and it's like Brown's day one reaction, and I listened to it and not super hyped about the Browns draft. Fans anyway. The analysts I think were, but I think Browns fans were not overly hyped about the combination of Fano and Concepcion because I think a lot of them wanted somebody different up top and had a different person in mind on the back end. And I think that round two, we talked about it on the show after the draft. Round two kind of changed everybody's perception and mood. But it was really funny to hear because this was the morning show before Friday's draft had begun. And to hear like all the callers like upset that they picked Fano and they were going to try to take a right tackle and move him left, or that they traded back and they missed on, they didn't end up with a top receiver, or they wanted Denzel Boston or Omar Cooper instead of Casey Concepcion. So it's funny sometimes to hear that stuff later, and that was just by coincidence. But I do think at that time, like there was plenty of people who wanted like a more stereotypical left tackle or a more stereotypical wide receiver for that matter, and would have been happier with either. So like I don't really think there's any problem with anybody's instant reaction or being, different. I've had plenty of years where I'm like, that's not the guy I wanted to pick, and we picked him anyway. And I just, time will tell, obviously. But like I did think for this, we read about it with Jory Epstein's story, and I highlighted that on our post-draft show. I told everybody to go read it. I got so much information out of it, and I found it super valuable. I found it super fun to hear the way they process the draft. Even with that being said, watching these videos that are out from the pick is in, way better. Like seeing the draft room, seeing them on the phone, seeing the things happen that Jory Epstein had written happening, I just think is awesome. And I assume because it's been trending everywhere, most Browns fans have seen it. But I would say it's worth going to look at because whether they picked right or not, they picked how they wanted to pick, and they got the guys they wanted to get in that first round. And I think that is in itself is valuable to a degree. Just knowing that they were like, well, we have all these options. We chose the one we wanted, and we got it exactly how we wanted. The only thing we'll never know is I would like to see the camera on them when Carnell Tate got picked, because I'll still always a little bit wonder. And maybe, who knows, maybe it's for the bet. Maybe Carnell Tate is okay wide receiver and Fano is a stud. Who knows? But the point will be like, that's the only question I really have from the draft, because they had so many open options and they could have went in whatever directions they wanted, but they didn't seem like they wanted to get Ty Simpson. They thought they knew who was going to take him and where, and they were like, that's fine. We're going to go this direction. They clearly wanted Casey Concepcion because there was a bunch of other guys on the board. They clearly wanted Fano because they literally go, well, we can trade back 3 and we'll get Fano, Tyson, or Francis Mainoa. And then as soon as their pick comes up, they're like, all right, it's Fano. It's just so telling that they're like, yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah, I think what's even better was when they said it's Fano, he went to the scout and said, all right, tell us what you think of him. And the guy was just glowing reviews of him, just saying he's the quickest, he's the fastest, he's got feet. What I also liked about it is you saw how calm Andrew Berry was. Whenever a call came in, nope, that's too much. That's not enough. Dallas calls, he wants you. Yep.
Do you want to see them?
We have that?
I got them both up.
Let's do it.
All that bean footage.
And then the Browns will select next.
Hey, maybe Dallas is asking if any interest in going.
Yeah, Will texted me too. I told him it depends on who's there and it depends on the price.
They will come up tonight.
They say, what about? They're 24. So 9 and 24 for 12 and 20. asking just to cogitate on it.
What? What does that mean? Anybody know what cotagitate means? I had to pause that because I was going to Google it, but I didn't want to.
Context, I was thinking it just means like, let's let them stew on that for a little bit.
So you should have just said that, but here we go.
They want to do 9 and 24 for 12 and 20, which is light on all dimensions.
Oh, there it is.
New Orleans has submitted its pick. Cleveland is on the clock.
Tyson. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
That makes sense. He wasn't pissed off about it. He knew his next move.
It just feels like, it just feels like they knew that, like you said, they had all the predicted models. They must have been like, okay, this guy could be there or not. And we were told, like, when making that trade down, they would only trade down the amount of picks where they could guarantee they would get one of their top 3 targets. And so, yeah, he just handles that like, okay, there goes one, but we're good.
Yep.
New Orleans Saints select
The New Orleans Saints.
Jordan Tyson, wide receiver.
He looks so ecstatic. I'm sorry, I keep pausing this. I watched this like 5 times.
Arizona State.
They're on the clock. They're on the clock.
Look at this guy.
Mike, come on. We don't have all day for this.
Let's make a dumb decision.
I offered their 9 and 24 for 12 and 20.
And say, what else would you want?
Best caller.
Yeah.
Is this Andrew?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Steven. Are y'all going to pick away here?
We are. We wouldn't do the swap of the first round.
Okay, if we threw in a 5, would that change it?
No, that wouldn't really be for us.
Doesn't move the needle. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, though.
All right.
All right. Best of luck.
I keep hearing Cleveland wants an offensive lineman, and they're worried New York's going to take it. They don't want to get behind the Giants.
That's right. All right. Hey, Ayers. This was your orange dot, buddy. What's it like about Spencer Pop?
We're getting the best tackle in this entire draft. This kid's rare combination of athleticism, quickness, strength, and his ability to excel on pass protection is truly something special. I think he's an excellent run blocker. He's pretty, he's tough, he's rangy, and the most important thing, like, this is the best person in the entire draft. This is one of the highest character guys I've done in the 10 years I've been on the road. This guy fits us beautifully.
Browns pick Fano.
Exactly what they wanted. They just picked up an extra 3rd and an extra 5th.
Did you guys watch the part when he said the trade is in, the trade is, like, he was acting very like dramatic, because he couldn't get reception.
Well, he couldn't get reception, right? So there's a lot to get out of that, but they had mentioned, like, I think these guys have at least a good idea what the other teams want in all fronts, and then we try to keep it secret as much as we can in Cleveland, like. But it was no surprise to anybody. Like, they need a receiver, they need a lineman, and we think we know what they're going for up front, especially after the top 2 receivers went, and then it was like, okay, well, they're not going to draft Mekhi Lemon at that point. I just think it's one of those where, like, I heard somebody say, or he said the GM from the Cowboys, well, they don't want the Giants to take their lineman too. Well, after the Giants was the Dolphins, who also took a lineman. So the last thing the Browns would have possibly risked were, okay, well, we traded back from 6 to 9. Jordan Tyson goes, Fano goes. Maybe the Dolphins end up taking Maui Noah if the Giants don't take and the Browns don't take Fano and Maui Noah. And that would have been like, imagine that scenario where you trade back and you get you move up 4 spots in the first round from 24 to 20, and you miss every one of your guys. And now you've got to go to like a second tier of guys like that. I just think it seems like exactly what would have happened. Like, if the Dolphins flipped with the Cowboys, which I don't know why they bothered doing that, but, and they took a lineman and the Giants took a lineman, the Browns were probably right. Those 2 teams were going to take a lineman. And if you traded back with the Cowboys, you were going to miss all your guys.
Yeah, a good thing Barry's smart enough to know where people say that, he's playing chess out there. So all the other guys are playing checkers. So he knew. It seemed to me, last thing on this, he it was real. The whole team, not just him, but they seemed to be prepared. They knew how far to move back, what exactly picks they wanted, what value is good for a trade back. And to me, that's encouraging to see as a fan that now Andrew Berry's in this mode or this mood or this just this vibe where he's in control. He knows what he's doing. So as a fan, it gives me confidence that the next draft, if obviously these guys need to hit, but if they play well this year, you're kind of going into year 3 now. You're like, all right, 2 drafts in a row. Maybe you can go 3 in a row, and you start to build young talent on that. But that's very encouraging to see that. It's actually going to be exciting because I guess it's going to do the whole draft, so we're going to see more of how more of these picks are going to happen. Speaking of
We'll see this
picks,
one really quick, and then we'll move along. This one is good too. Hold on.
I've heard about Kansas. Cleveland feels like it's got to deal with somebody to move back. Not like they've got enough opportunities. They feel like. So that I don't know whether that's Kansas City or Dallas.
You still good? All right. So let's stay on the line. Okay. I'm going to have Coop go ahead and call it in. We'll stay on the line until Chris calls it in with our section.
This is Ted.
Okay, hang on. They're on the other line. All right, 6 for 9, 74, 148. Okay, got a deal.
Cleveland has traded its pick. Kansas City is on the clock.
We have a trade. We have a trade. Trade. I get terrible Wi-Fi here. Hey, how do I get to the alert? Did the alert get up?
so dramatic, man.
All right. So we traded out 6. We're going to 9 with Kansas City. Thought being we have 3 guys that we would take at this spot with Fano, Tyson, and Maui Noah. We go to 9. We're guaranteed one of those positions. We'll see what Washington and New Orleans do. They could not.
Man, I wonder if New Orleans would have went somewhere else.
Let us call it a tier, ladies and gentlemen.
I wonder if
I keep going back to the idea of keep going back to that idea that he did say them in that order, and this is just my brain. This might be wrong. I would have said them in the order that I wanted them, and he said Fano, Tyson, Maui Noah.
Yeah.
And it just gives me that feeling like that's the order he wanted them in, or he just has them all equal and maybe it's a coincidence, but like I would have grouped the tackles then. I would have been like, well, there's Maui Noah, Fano, and then there's Tyson.
A receiver.
He also Mike made the point. He doesn't seem devastated when he gets picked. You would expect maybe a little more of a like
he anticipated it. Yeah.
Got Tyson, but
I wonder if they were hoping Tyson would fall. I think they did their homework and they probably knew Tyson would go, and they kind of was like, maybe we're wrong. And that's when he's like, yeah, it makes sense. Because I think they kind of anticipated it. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I'm excited to watch the rest of that. That stuff is like, as a fan, football fan, you're like, man, next year you can kind of vision what's going on now in the draft room.
Fans should watch more of that kind of stuff. Like I always try to point out that stuff because I know so many who don't have like a really good, realistic expectation of like what's happening there, especially for the Browns because they have such a unique system. But I still talk to people who think like, yeah, they're probably sitting there like trying to decide who they like. And I'm like, guys, they have this so tiered, re-tiered, graded. Like they may come down to a decision because somebody they didn't expect to be there was there. And so they didn't quite like, and it's at a position that they're like, we love this guy, but maybe it's not our biggest need. I can see that like reeling, you just never know. But for the most part, I still think there's like a whole handful of people out there that just think it's like they're waiting for it to happen before they, like they haven't run these scenarios 10,000 times.
And he talked about that in an interview about AI, and they use some type of software where they just go do different draft scenarios. But it'll be interesting to see next episode because I'm sure Casey Concepcion's going to be on there. And speaking of that, we're going to get right into our receiver talk. We're going to kind of talk about the receivers we have. We'll probably most likely,
You skipped the whole what do we learn from this year's draft process part?
Oh, Oh yeah. What did we learn from this year's draft process part?
I have the perfect spot. One, we learned not to trade 3 number 1 picks for a quarterback ever again. Okay,
That helps. Yeah.
number one's due to you, and
Nice to
hopefully,
have them.
my microphone has been blocking the shirt the entire show. But hopefully, I can put a W back on this shirt this year. That'd be great, right? That's what
More
you.
than
That's
5. Yeah.
That's what we learned. Or 5. That's what you're going this year.
No, more than 5 is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh
You're gonna
man,
get 6, but
Boy,
whatever.
will it be disappointing if they can't at least pull that off.
Yeah. Well, according to Vegas, they're not gonna get more than 6. So different topic. That's a different topic. How about you, Chad? What did you get out of this?
I mean, I think like
process?
I mean, it's just kind of the stuff we said. Like we've covered. Like they know what they're doing in there. Like that, it doesn't mean everyone will work out, but I think people just think like the Browns have this crazy like scenario and it's all mathematical and whatever. And it's like it's everything combined. It's the scouting. The scouts are in the room. It's the analytics on their own guys. The analytics on how the process will play out and how likely a guy is to be there. Like they're looking at everything. And for everybody that's like, well, Barry thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Yeah, he does think he's the smartest guy in the room. It's hard to do that job if you don't think if you're calling to try to make a trade and you're like, but this guy's super smart and I'm not that smart. Like you're going to struggle drafting. Like you got to feel like you're winning. You got to be confident. You got to think the way you're doing it is the right way.
Yeah.
And then the players got to do the rest. So
I think KP Young said it best here. He says, never hire a baseball guy to do football stuff. That is,
we disagree.
That is,
I still think we're taking shots at the guy that brought in analytics when the whole entire story was the Browns are still using a ton of analytic models. They're
100%.
on every TV.
analytic model.
It's the exact analytic model that got set up
here
with DiPodesta.
This is different from
this method, the method analytics, the method of how to put it together, computing information.
I just think that's Browns fans going, well, now that DiPodesta is gone, I can feel better about us. And I'm like, well, now that DiPodesta is gone, I think they're still using a whole lot of the entire department he set up. And I
guess we can safely say if they continue to use analytics like they have the last 2 years, we'll be fine with it, right? Because
and last year, I remind everybody, he was in the room last year. Paul DiPodesta was still here when they traded for Graham. They brought in Fano. They got Judkins and Schlesinger. Like, we got to stop pretending like this year. And I'll put it this way. I will be blown away if this draft class is better than last year's. Like, that will be incredible. Some people have already chalked that up. I have not. But
I'm being wary this year.
Yeah, I still don't think we can go into this year automatically assuming that they outdid last year because they did a whole lot last year. In fact, one of the biggest moves this year was nabbing Casey Concepcion, which is last year's draft.
Yeah,
that they got that pick.
I want to hit a few things real quick. Brian Schaefer, thank you for joining us from YouTube today and talking crap about Browns because you're a Pittsburgh fan. Appreciate you. And Brian Clifton, hey guys, Brian from Greater Cincinnati Browns backers. Love to have you here, man. Appreciate you coming on and talking with us. Enjoy the show, man.
Nice.
It's fun. We have fun
Cincinnati, Brian. Where's your bar at, Brian? Put it in below. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool.
I bet you it's in Cincinnati.
Well, I wonder what bar exactly they go to.
Yeah, let the people know.
Yeah, what bar in Cincinnati?
We're big in Cincinnati, so he should get that out there.
Yeah, hopefully we're big in Cincinnati. We'll get into some receiver talk. We're gonna talk about our receivers. We're gonna give comps to the rookie receivers that we think are close. First, we're going to start off with the first receiver drafted off the board. And I'm excited to see how they went about deciding Casey Concepcion in this next series coming out. But Casey Concepcion, comp, Chad, what do you have as a comp? I have one, but I'm going to see if we have the same one, then I just won't repeat myself.
Yeah, so two things. One, I like the idea of like a comp range, just like I like the range of anything else. But I did look through these comps and I found so many. And I find that a lot of times the comps you get after someone are drafted are a lot different than the comps you see before they're drafted because teams start saying things like, we see him as, and then they're not going to pick somebody that's not really, really good. But for Casey Concepcion, one of the comps that I liked the best, I thought, was Jordan Addison. I think that's a really good comp for him, a player who can play inside, outside, who maybe doesn't have crazy size, but has good ability once he gets the hands on the ball. And that was one of my favorites that kind of sat in a spot where talent-wise, like, okay, you're looking at a guy that was like a mid to late first round grade, and that, has some upside that could carry the load if he has to, but is probably not coming into the mix as like a immediate starter and star. So that was the one that I think resonated with me the most and felt the most reasonable, both on a skill set and actual like talent level.
For me, I got Jaden Reed, Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
Now he was drafted 50th overall, but I think he's kind of like a chess piece like him. Matt LaFleur moves him around outside, puts him in the slot, or hands on the ball. And Mike's favorite play called the jet sweep. Mike loves the jet sweep. Every time it's called, Mike jumps up and cheers for it.
I'm glad I'm a Browns fan.
He's like, man, yeah, jet sweep 3 times in a row, man. It always gets me excited. We need to get shirts that says "do a jet sweep" and just put the Bearded Browns logo on it.
I can make that happen.
Also, he has elite yak production, just like Casey Concepcion does. Casey had a 7.2 yards after catch in college last year. As his career, he has forced a missed tackle rate of 21% of his touches missed tackle. So I think Jaden Reed is a good comp. And if he turns out to be like Jaden Reed, he's going to score some touchdowns, because before the injury last year, Jaden Reed gets in the end zone. I think he had 8 his first year, 9 the year before, and he got hurt and still had 4 last year.
Right.
So
you guys ready for this?
Yes.
Corey Coleman. Same measurables. Oh, yeah. But hopefully better. Way better.
Oh, he catches consistently better too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Never going to know until we see the kid play, right? So you want to talk about comps? Measurables are spot on pretty much.
Yeah. I would say
different here.
Probably as a pre-draft process, that probably is a reasonable one. I can't remember Corey Coleman's like college.
Because he sucked.
I just can't remember, even though we drafted him, like I can't remember his college
because he sucked so bad.
Play, like where do they have him in college? And
he's from Baylor, right?
He was pretty highly touted.
Yeah. Baylor. Yeah.
People hated on Corey Coleman, but Corey Coleman was like not the world's most shocking pick. People were not like, whoa, what a crazy reach. Like it kind of was somebody that everybody thought was going in the first round.
Yep. Real quick, Rich said the Saturday show was epic. If you have not seen Darren Spiner interview, I recommend you go to YouTube, look it up on our page. It is a really good 1.5-hour interview with Ernest Spiner himself. There's some reels that we've posted, but it just does not totally grasp the full interview. So I encourage you guys to go look at that. Also, did you know that Casey Concepcion was his open target rate was 88% his whole career in college?
Who?
He was open Casey Concepcion was open 88% of the time. Now let's see if he does that.
Pretty impressive. Yeah,
let's
I'm not sure Corey,
NFL,
that's what I would love. That's what I'd like to see back with like Corey Coleman. Was he as open, and was he? I don't think Corey Coleman. I don't ever remember him coming in with the like reputation of like being a precise, like incredible route runner and man beater. But again, it's hard to remember. It's not that it was that long ago, but you block that out real quick, don't you?
Yeah, I do remember Coleman going in and saying, "If you don't play me, get rid of me." And they got rid of him. They're like, "Peace out, dog."
Corey Coleman was my biggest argument, I think, for like that old adage that the Browns like push for culture change.
Oh yeah, he was anything but that.
And it did, yeah, and it just there's so many guys it didn't happen for, and I was always like,
he was a speed guy though, right, Mike? He was fast.
He was fast.
I do, because he's from Baylor. I think he was fast. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah,
but I would just say Casey Concepcion, like he is fast. He was a 4.4 something 40 guy, but people don't talk about him like it was a burner and that his weapon is speed. They talk about him like his weapon is route running and like movement to me a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Next up is Denzel Boston. I'll go real quick. I got T. Higgins on him. Comp.
Oh my God, nice.
You have it. You have the same one.
So that's funny because I think that is one of the better comps for him, and I didn't see it anywhere. And I was kind of like, I just kept looking up, like, come on, where are some good comps to this guy? And I just kept thinking, like, what am I missing in T. Higgins' like game and like where he was drafted that
He was
doesn't
drafted
fall into that?
33. Yeah, I think he was drafted
He was
33.
the first guy in the second round, right?
Yeah.
Which is similar. Obviously, Boston's slightly later, but like top of the second round.
Yeah, top of the second round
guy, and like measurables and style of play too.
Yeah, they don't break a lot of tackles. Their average yards after catch is 4.4, but they do get a lot of air yards, meaning they're catch the ball deep and their catching percentage is pretty high. I even freaking Boston's catching percentage in college was insane. But you can Higgins turns a 50-50 ball into an 80-20 ball if you just throw it up there. And I'm hoping Boston also does that. It seems like he does that a lot in the red zone where most of his touchdowns come from. So when I think of him, I do see the 6'4" frame. I do see the weight. I see the comp of T. Higgins. And I'm hoping he's every bit of that because if you can make him T. Higgins, can you imagine him catching balls on the outside?
That's a good comp. Like I said, it came to me at one point, and I was like, "Yeah, I wonder why I'm not seeing it. Maybe there's something I'm missing in their game." The one that sat the best with me was Michael Pittman Jr. I think
it's a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah, that was the one where I'm like size, frame, but also like the way he plays the game, the fact that he's like a dependable receiver, but also a receiver that you don't just need to like throw jump balls to. He can actually get down the field and make plays. He's one of those people that you look at as like, not, and this isn't that far from T. Higgins, where it's like, well, he's a solid X, but he's maybe not the guy you want to be your number one receiver. Yeah. He could be a little underwhelming at that, but he also can maybe handle that role. It's just he's a guy that like could maybe hold down a number one role, but would be great if there's another option, and that kind of all just fits. And so I think out of everybody, that was the one that kind of sat the best with me was Michael Pittman Jr. I think it's a realistic thought.
Yeah. And for me, T. Higgins and him have about the average depth of target is 14 yards before they're targeted. So, but I whenever I read up on Denzel Boston, I'm thinking like, this guy is as a deep threat as Casey Concepcion can be, or Isaiah Bond, because his deep threat numbers are insane. Like he catches the ball 20 yards down the field, and you have a big body that you can throw up like that. Even Gary in the comments said, in the red zone, dude, you a big body like that. We have not had somebody like that since Josh Gordon.
And I don't want to just pigeonhole him to a red zone guy because I've been seeing that a ton. And I actually made a comment on that earlier because people are going like, well, it will be Denzel Boston in the red zone. And I'm like, I don't want to hold Denzel Boston. Like, I don't want to be overly optimistic, but he made a bunch of 20-yard plus explosive plays. Like, don't just think that you throw it around to all the other guys until you're on the 5-yard line. Like if he can really move the ball. But yeah, so those are two good ones.
Fine.
Go ahead, Mike.
That was what I was going to go with. Contested catches, speed, bigger frame body. That's Anquan Boldin was definitely my pick too.
That's not. I mean, that's a good. I mean, it's a good comp. I like that one. Yeah, I mean, if they turn into any of those players, right? You're like, we're going to be pretty solid at wide receiver. You know?
And again, that's why I don't like these comps where people are like, he's Denzel Boston. I'm like, well, I mean, wouldn't that be nice? But I'm not going to comp him to somebody that was like a consensus top 10 pick, right? I don't want to jump the gun and say like, if people thought that of him, he wouldn't have gone in the second round. But but I think those are realistic, like comps, taking away the fact that there's some bust potential to any, especially large receiver taken. But those are, I think, realistic expectations. And I think another thing we're thinking of is like, so let's do yours first here. Angel with like T. Higgins. So I'm looking back at T. Higgins. T. Higgins blew up his first year, and had 900 yards as a rookie.
Yeah.
Like,
that's because was Chase with him though? Chase
wasn't
was
that the
with
next
him.
year?
Jamar Chase,
Chase was after?
was either that year or the next year. I can't remember.
I think it was the next. I think it was the next
That's
year.
crazy.
Real quick.
That's a good year.
Where do you go? Brian Clifton, again, tell everybody where your Browns Backers Club or bar is at.
Oh, he did say it. I just missed
guys
it.
on here. I didn't see it in here yet, but yeah, Brian Clifton, let everybody know. We got a couple of Cincinnati guys in here. I'm sure you guys could link up. That'd be kind of cool. Where are we doing comparisons to everybody else?
No, just
those ones. So I looked up Michael Pittman as well. I haven't seen Anquan Bolden yet, but Michael Pittman's rookie year, 500 yards. And I would say that is a much more reasonable one. Another comp I heard a lot, that was really tough for me to toss up who fit more. And I think he was maybe a third rounder, was Nico Collins, who a lot of people thought probably should have went in the second round and has a lot of similarities to Boston, probably a little less developed than Boston. And he had a really rough rookie year, but came around a little bit in year 2 and actually blew up in year 3. So I just think people taking those ranges though of like is kind of important, because if you look at those comps and you're like, yeah, these are realistic comps, I think we should probably keep realistic ranges for these guys too. It's like, it wouldn't be a shocking thing if this guy puts up 400 to 600 yards this season, and we can still look at it and go, pretty good player. He's going to be, a big piece of this team.
Yeah, considering what's going on at quarterback too. Sorry, Mike.
And how many weapons? Like, you got to deal with targets with Harold Fannin, Casey Concepcion, who's picked higher than you, Jerry Jeudy, who's like the current number 1 target on the team at wide receiver, and then they're going to run the ball a bit. So like, I just think it's fair to keep those comps and have some upside expectation with these guys without thinking you're going to get T. Higgins' 900 yards, because that team was not in the same place that the Browns are in.
I think you're going to see a lot of these rookie wide receivers out here soon, very soon, if not start the season. But also you are going to see a lot of run game as well, because now you beefed up your offensive line. You could open up those gaps and let them run. I cannot wait to see that. I cannot wait to see the offensive line. Obviously, you guys know that it's been my biggest pet peeve throughout the last probably 2 years, right? I mean,
yeah.
So I am looking forward to seeing that the most. And obviously, we're not going to see a lot of that at camp, like I said earlier, but hopefully you'll see that in game during the season. I am looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to who's going to be quarterback, and I'm looking to see what these wide receivers are going to be able to do for us. Are these guys going to be able to get open? Are they going to be able to catch the ball? Are we going to be able to win games with offense, not defensive touchdowns? Like that Cincinnati game, when everybody's like, oh, Shedeur won that game. Like, bro, tell me how Shedeur won that game, please. For the love of
111 yards throwing. Sorry, I kept that up. Brian's spot is Max Pizza on Kenwood and Blue Ash, guys, if you're anywhere near that area. That's actually pretty sweet. Maybe you guys can link up. Let us know if you do.
They got good pizza, I hope.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, T. Higgins was drafted 2020 with Joe Burrow, so that could be why he put up 900 yards his first year. The quarterback helped a lot.
And again, like that's the only guy there. Like that, he didn't have Jamar Chase there yet. Jamar Chase got picked the next year, so you just kind of have to keep it in mind. Like, they picked a good quarterback. He became the number 1 target right away. So like, but that's not what Boston's walking into.
No, it's not. So. Next up on our receiving, so we kind of want to talk about the receiving core real quick, because you got them too. You got Jerry Jeudy, you got Tillman, you got Bond, you got Malachi Corley. Now, what I did, and you guys can disagree if you want. I put Taylor Wallace, special teams, as a returner. And for me, the bubble guys will be Luke, Thrash, and Gage. Now you guys can say I disagree.
Actually,
but I
would
want to
like
get
to
you
go
guys
from the
point on
bottom
that.
up. Yeah, let's
Go
go
ahead.
from the bottom up. So the bubble guys, I think that's optimistic for those guys. I think for me, I think Malachi Corley and Taylon Wallace are on the bubble. I think those bottom guys are. I mean, as much as I loved rooting for Gage Larverdane, I think he's a practice squad target this year, and I don't think anybody's jumping in to get him. I just look at the names you named above them with Concepcion, Boston, Judy, Tillman, Bond. That's already 5. Malachi Corley, who has a pretty high profile, and if you're talking about having a head coach and an offensive staff who are going to stop trying to fit guys into a scheme and just sort of like put guys where they think they can be successful, even if it's, off of just a role player, like he's got a lot more upside. Taylon Wallace is in a little bit of hot water because we drafted him before we had someone who isn't just an incredible returner added to this team in Casey Concepcion. He was a lights out punt returner in college, and there's nothing that tells me that they shouldn't try with him being a rookie to get him in that role again. But yeah, those bubble guys, I think bubble is, and poor Jamari Thrash, like, just hasn't been able to make an impact. But those guys,
it's a new year.
Feel like practice squad players as of today. Who knows? Like somebody Malachi Corley could tear something in camp, and all of a sudden every one of those guys is like fighting for a position. And Malachi Corley's no lock, but as of right now, I see those names and that there's a first rounder, second rounder, first rounder, third rounder, second round talent, third rounder now on the Browns room. And I go, like,
you guys ready for some speculation?
Yep.
I don't think Cedric Tillman's going to even be here. I think you're going to see somebody else. And I'm not going to lie just because I like the guy, but Jamari Thrash, I'm really still hoping this kid has his breakout year. I do like Luke Floria and Gage Larverdane as well. I'm with you, Chad. I really don't want to put them in bubble, but man, that one's hard. And like you said, Malachi Corley has been or could be something big as well. And then what's going to happen with Jerry Jeudy? Is he going to be your number one? Is he going to be that shining star that we wanted last year and somehow gets his head out of his butt this year and shows up? Like, is that really a reality, or is he just done? We're going to find out, but I don't think Tillman's going to be here. I would like to see Jamari Thrash in there. And like you said, unfortunately for Luke and Gage, I think they might be practice squad guys. Develop them there and see what happens maybe next year. But I think I want to see Thrash out there still. I haven't given up.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't do Thrash as special teams.
Holding out hope, baby.
At least put them.
That's what makes me nervous. So
yeah,
Angel, that's a perfect point. What makes me nervous is Thrash not doing that, even with the rotation of wide receivers we've had in the last couple of years, and with the fact that we have been dying to have anybody return a punt or a kick, and he still isn't getting out there, makes me wonder, like, what is he not showing them?
There we go. Earl the Man Booth. Tillman and Judy are on the clock.
Yeah, I don't think Judy's going anywhere, but I do think this is the path to eventually surpass him.
Tillman. Yeah, I'll say that to defend Judy, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, so I'm not going to repeat them. He was getting open last year. Now, he was getting a lot. His open percentage rate was really high. Now, you have an argument about him catching the ball if the ball gets to him. You wonder, he's dropped the ball 9 times last year, or 10, I think.
10.
So that's his issue. He was getting open. It all stems back from the quarterback, man. It's going to be interesting. It's not to show for it, to see what they do at quarterback and how it's going to improve. They already improved the offensive line compared to last year. How it's going to improve Jerry Jeudy, because I think he can, and I don't think they're blowing smoke out of fans' butts when they said Jeudy is a workhorse. I do think they believe that, because I do think they see that he was getting open, It's just the quarterback just wasn't seeing him because the line wasn't allowing him to progress. That's why Fannin was the number one guy, because that was the safety net for Shador.
And who do we have on the show that said, you got to let him cook. You got to start getting him receptions early on to let him start, not warming up essentially, but you got to get him the ball and he'll start making plays happen. I forget who it was. It was one of the two
someone
guys.
did say that. Yeah, I forgot that.
But they said get the ball to him early and let him, get excited about it. I guess you shouldn't have to do that in the NFL. This is the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. This is the elite. You should be warmed up and pumped up before the game and ready to catch balls. It's your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian.
There is something to like volume guys, though. It's like you would say the same thing about Judkins. Like, don't give Judkins the ball 9 times in a game. Give him the ball on repeat and let him start cooking. And I think it is a little different for receivers, but I don't think it's a crazy thought to say try to get like some volume for that guy.
I always forget that Judy skipped in Vegas and lost the ball. Some people always remind me. I always think, now I envision it. Every time someone said, well, Judy skipped and fumbled in Vegas, and it just replays in my mind.
Yes,
and how I felt like, oh my gosh.
That was the most annoying play that he had the whole season.
Yeah.
That flip was his first touchdown.
Yeah.
But he just achieved the world for some reason. It was ignorant. I did not like that at all, but
he celebrated like he won the Super Bowl. I guess, yeah, man, that's crazy. We'll see what happens.
Our show.
Yeah, that's it, guys. I had a goal and we talked about it and we hit it, man. An hour show today, and hopefully shows like this from this point forward, because there's not going to be a lot coming out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for the comments, even the hateful ones. We appreciate it. You pushing our content in the algorithm. Thank you to Rust Belt Automotive. Thank you to Dick's House of Sport. Thank you to Rest Renew Counseling, Cleveland Ketchup, and Bearded Bastard Barbecue Sauce, and Doug White, Allstate Insurance, for sponsoring the show. Much appreciated. It goes a long way. And most importantly, every comment that you guys put on this page and helps us feel like we're not alone in this journey of podcasting, seeing this grow from the beginning from like 1 or 2 people to 50, 60 people is pretty cool to see, even if you're commenting hate. But don't forget, vote every day. May 15th is the cutoff day, and they start the whole voting all over again. But get us nominated, get us on the ballot to be the best Cleveland sports podcast. You can do it by simply going to voteclevelandscene.com/people and places. I can't believe I'm reading that. It's so small. Categories. And then you just go there and just type in Bearded Browns podcast and then hit submit. That's it. And then you're done, and do that once a day. You do that and you can make us the best sports podcast again.
2P.
That right there can be a second one along the wall. 2P. Appreciate you guys. Any last words from you, young gentlemen? I mean, we got a half hour left technically.
Yeah. Can I end with a fun fact of Casey Concepcion? As you guys can tell, like, I've been trying to get people on board with him since the draft. I think a lot of people have come around.
There you go.
Yeah. So this kind of helps highlight it. So for those of you that don't follow Matt Harmon, I follow him pretty closely. I love reception perception. I like the way he mixes
reception from Concepcion. Sorry.
Reception perception of Concepcion. I love the way he mixes like the numbers of like how successful guys are and charts them, sort of in a PFF style of like less analytic and more of like, well, I watched him play 3 games and he ran these routes, 8 times each, and he won on 7 of them and he lost on 1 of them, or whatever it happens to be. This chart is just really cool to look at, how often he beat man coverage on these routes. And again, the numbers are there on percentage of how often he wins. The color coding goes with how good is that compared to the average. So like yellow is like, oh, he's in the average. Red is like, oh, so he falls below average on winning on that route. And he said, beware of those because maybe he has a second chart where he puts how often they were actually run. So for this comeback, he didn't say this, but he's like, if he just doesn't run that route very much and he ran it twice and only won on it once, like that's 50%. Like that one's not going to look very good. But he did say, basically, the way he described him, and he did this for Boston, he did it for Omar Cooper Jr., he does it for all the draft prospects coming out, and then he'll do it for majority of the starting receivers in the NFL after he watches their tape. So here's Denzel Boston's, as you can see, much less successful on a handful of routes compared to Casey Concepcion. But of course, he's a big-bodied receiver, and KC's versatility and route running is his superpower. So this should not be a surprise to anybody that a guy 6'4" maybe doesn't blow it away on 9 routes, just trying to run straight down the field. He's not a speed receiver. He's, and he probably doesn't have the same route running level. So the color coding is how much better than all of his peers is he at each of these routes. And to be green on this many is still pretty good for a guy of his size. But the fact I wanted to get to with Casey Concepcion that kind of goes along with these was they also pointed out that Casey Concepcion had an elite ability to beat man coverage and press man coverage. And they looked back to the charting. He started this website in 2020, and he said, so far, there's only been 4 receivers he's charted who were more successful at beating man coverage overall than Casey Concepcion. And Matt Harmon was very high on him. He had him probably higher than anybody I followed in the draft process. He said Travis Hunter, Jalen Waddle, Elijah Moore, and Devontae Smith were the only 4 college players he has ever graded who were basically able to put up the numbers that Casey Concepcion did when it comes to just running routes and beating your guy. And I thought, man, like, I know people aren't high on Elijah Moore. He did not turn into an incredible NFL prospect, although I still don't think he was ever put in the position he should have been put in early in his career. And he bounced around too much, and he touched the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns, which is almost,
unfortunately,
just a curse for trying to have any NFL success. That's not the 1-2 punch you want. But I did think that was pretty eye-opening that guys like Devontae Smith and Travis Hunter, who was thought of really highly early in the draft, and
called it,
and Jalen Waddle, who went very early in the first round, were like 3 of the 4 guys who were able to pass that. So
to highlight what you said about man coverage, the defenses ran man coverage 70% of the time last year. So that tells you how important Casey Concepcion is going to be for this offense. If he can beat it, 7 of the 10 times they lined up, if it was man defense, they got a weapon to go up against that.
And again,
not up the middle of the field whatsoever. He will catch balls in the middle of the field, no problem.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this guy's not afraid of contact, and he's not afraid to run every route. That's why I thought that was so cool to see that route tree, because it's not like, oh, he's great if he just runs straight down the field or runs slants. Like, this guy will run every route, and there was only 1 route charted that he wasn't incredibly successful on. And again, that's nothing against Denzel Boston. For his size, that is a very good chart. Like, it's very good to see him being able to win versus man coverage and get.
Is that what you would normally see as like a tight end, like that? For Denzel Boston, kind of something similar.
I don't even think you would. Yeah, I don't know. He charts tight ends as well. I think his highest tight end charted this year was Stowers, who was just a great pass catching tight end. But yeah, Denzel Boston, like I don't know. You're looking at some really top X receivers coming out who have that kind of a chart as Denzel Boston had. I think what held Denzel Boston back is he just doesn't have elite speed. And he
doesn't get away. Yak yards is low on him.
And he
doesn't catch and maybe get But that corner route, 100%.
But you do want a contested catch guy who can also get open like that. For my money, Denzel Boston. What's optimistic, because I'm a little lower than him on Cleveland. I think I probably would have taken him in the second round, but I don't think I was ever going to take him as a first rounder. And I know a lot of Cleveland fans really liked him in the first round. And this helps explain why, because you have a guy that's an X receiver, he can still break coverage and get open. He doesn't live in a world of just throw it to me and I'll out jump him, because in the NFL that gets much harder if you can't create separation. So I like to see that there's a guy that will win at the catch point and will win 50-50 balls, but actually doesn't need to catch every 50-50 ball because he can get open too in a lot of routes.
Yeah, I ran the same 40 speed as Tate, which is for
unofficially. No, I'm kidding. I'm
four.
kidding.
Yeah, he didn't run it at the combine, but 4.53 was
yeah.
But again, and that got Tate killed. I don't think that gets a guy the size of Denzel Boston killed, because you're like, oh, holy cow, that's a big body to be moving.
Sam got his wish. That's all he wanted, and it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. James just said Sam might fight you, Chad.
Fight you.
Yeah, I know. Sam was really high on him. I wasn't as high. But again, I was ecstatic to get him in the second round. I was like, oh, to get him at 39 to me felt like a dream. To take him at 24, I would have felt like there's just too many of those big guys. It's not only that like the big guys have a higher bust potential than we account for. There's too many big guys who take like 3 full years to hit their potential, like Nico Collins did. And so you're like, even so, like if you take him in the first round and it's not till his third year that he finally comes around, like people will be less patient with him. They'll expect more early. And I just don't know that that's going to be him. I just like the brand of football he plays and the fact that he doesn't have to do that. Like we have Jerry Jeudy and Casey Concepcion here, and Harold Fannin is a great pass catching tight end.
Yeah.
We can take Denzel Boston and make him a positional player and use him, where he succeeds. And I think that is the best scenario for him. So now we just need a quarterback that we all trust to get him the ball, and we're in good shape.
Chad, Sam said you would rather fight an alligator in a telephone booth.
Hey, I'm scrappy, Sam. I'm a scrappy guy. I wrestle a little bit.
A few Coors Lights is on.
But yeah, give me an alligator over a person, because you can get that jaw snap shut. Is never opening again.
Yeah, worry about that tail and that kickback.
You hold on for dear life.
Boot him out the booth.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Thank you for the love every week. Don't forget, this Saturday they will be live 10 a.m. Browns Morning Brew. And again, I encourage you to go to YouTube and look up the interview with Ernest Biner. They did a really good job. A lot of good memories. You'll start to reminisce. You'll probably even cry, because that's the last time they were good. It's a really good interview. Tune in. Till next time, guys. Appreciate it. Go Browns.
Closing you out with this. Go Browns.